Under the same moon, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. Welcome to the weekly legal review with Calvin Johnson, one of the best criminal defense attorneys there is. So we look forward to bringing him on. There's so much to talk about. We just finished up a presentation with the president and also the president of Ukraine. A lot of people feel that deal's a little shaky. We're going to see what the attorney has to say about it. Also, we have Luigi Mangione, so much more to talk about, but without moving further for another moment, we're going to bring on Calvin Johnson. Calvin.
Man, how you doing, man? What's going on, brother?
Quite well, quite well.
Well, I've been doing better. I didn't tell you yet, but a cement truck hit me from the back, destroyed my car, pushed me into an 18-wheeler. Back's hurting a little bit. Shoulders hurting a little bit. Went to the doctor yesterday, but I'm still here, so we can still rock out, still have our show. Because without our show, man, the world couldn't continue. So, so that's what's been happening in my world. But man, we have a lot going on this week. We got Trump, you got Mangione, you got Tyler Perry being sued for $77 million. Then we got our year review, man. We've saw a lot this year. We've been through a lot, but we've been providing the people with their correct legal advice and giving them some good times and some good education on what to do when they're in certain situations. So, man, I'm just glad to continue to rock out with you, buddy.
So you keep in mind that I went to Sean Diddy Combs' trial so much for like 9 weeks. Do you think we have another Diddy in the making with Tyler Perry, or you think this is just light accusations?
I feel in one point we always kind of knew maybe that was there for Tyler Perry. Let's quit ignoring like we didn't know that was a possibility of him having those kinds of relationships with people. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that he was doing something he wasn't supposed to do, because I know sometimes these people will sue you and just because you have a lot of money. But with that being said, Mr. Perry just got to be extremely careful. He has to understand that he's wealthy. You're putting yourself around a lot of people. There have been those whispers about you for a long time. So with that being said, you just got to be extra careful when you're worth that kind of money. You try to buy BET and you have a huge studio, you have a huge career, and you do a lot of stuff in the community, and you've done a lot of stuff for a lot of people. So I'm always careful about speaking about people like that. But with that being said, in all honesty, we all think about certain things about Mr. Perry and wonder, just as the general public, we wonder about certain things. But when people make these allegations like this, man, you just got to be extremely careful. If you're Mr. Perry, who you gonna let around you, because you're worth a lot of money, and one lawsuit, man, can cost you millions of dollars.
All right. So what do you think about this week, all the explosive information coming about Donald Trump and Epstein?
A lot of us have suspected that they had a close relationship. Let's be honest. When you have a Congress that literally was trying to block the files from coming out, and then you had to hold their foot to the fire to make them come out, and then they passed a law basically telling them that they have to come out. And then the day that they're supposed to come out, only part of them come out. And then that part that comes out gets redacted. And then all of a sudden, there's a million more files that somebody magically found. And so when we start thinking about that, let's be honest, whether you like Mr. Trump or not, we're not stupid. Something is going on there, because all of those, as we say in law, just happened. just happened. And I literally went through about 5 or 6 just happened to be's, right? So when there's so many just happen to be's, usually there's something there.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Were you shocked to learn that there's a million other files, potentially records that could be coming to the stream?
No, man, I look at Jeffrey Epstein as a master manipulator. I mean, I want you to think about this. That man was able to do what he did all of those years. He was able to be around some of the most powerful people in the world, presidents, anybody that has connections to Trump and Clinton. Come on, man. At the same time, and they don't even really deal with each other like that. Come on, man. I mean, you're a pretty powerful person, and all of the people that he had those contacts and connections with, and you were able to either hide or be a part of something like that for decades, and you only got one conviction initially before they sent you to the federal penitentiary, and in that one conviction, they literally gave you the key, like what was that guy Otis and on the Mayberry show, the what was the Andy Griffith show where they gave him the key and he could actually let himself in and out and come in when he wants to. He literally took us back to Mayberry. That's how powerful Jeffrey Epstein was. He was a walking time machine. He had so much power and influence over people. So it does not surprise me at all.
Yeah. What do you say about all the individuals that are on TikTok, Instagram, and now they're putting the president? They're just making photos up, and they have him with a little young black girl. And then I just saw a photo of Trump and Bill Clinton in the bed snuggling. These are all
Oh
made up
man.
photos. But how do you separate the confusion?
Man, and see, I don't like that. Was it artificial intelligence and people making these photos? Because what Trump will do, he'll be smart and say, "Oh, it's a hoax. It's a hoax." He'll make everything into a hoax. And, truth be told, some of those photos that are put up are probably kind of hoaxy, but some of them are true when they come from Epstein. And that letter from Larry Nasser or to Larry Nasser from Jeffrey Epstein, that's pretty interesting. If they can authenticate that, that would be very, very interesting. But the issue is when you look back at all of that stuff, all of the connections, and you look back to the fact that he had connections to Mar-a-Lago, none of this should surprise us. It should not surprise us.
What about Virginia Dufresne and how she was basically scouted from Mar-a-Lago when she was around 16 or 17 years old by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell?
It doesn't surprise me because they were really good at doing what they were doing. I watched a documentary on Epstein and Maxwell and how they were so methodical about getting young women to come over to Jeffrey's place. Because you think about it, they would get a young lady over there, tell her she could work, maybe take her on a trip, bring her back, take her on another trip, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Epstein needs massages and so on and so forth. And he's paying $300-400 for a young lady like that for nothing, as opposed to working at the mall. I can go over and make $500, $600, $700 with Mr. Epstein. Oh, matter of fact, hey, won't you bring some of your young friends over? So now you got younger girls going that are being invited. Maxwell basically is the pimpstress, getting being the connection between Jeffrey and the younger girls, and then eventually coaxing them into massages and all of this kind of stuff. Man, it's classic grooming. It just doesn't surprise me. Um, Epstein was a master manipulator to set all of this up and get away with it for so long.
I saw a story about a young girl walking down the streets of New York just to set the stage, right? All of a sudden, somebody pulls up in a brand new Rolls Royce, and then allegedly Ghislaine Maxwell hops out, runs up to her, and says, "Hey, I have this guy. He can make you famous. What do you want to do?" "Oh, I want to be a model. I want to be an artist," and played until that. Next thing you know, she's rubbing his feet. What do you think about that?
See, that's the kind of stuff that you pay attention to, and what I think that Epstein was targeting when you think about this, they were targeting girls that were maybe not from affluent families, middle class to lower middle class to poor families. You bring them in an environment, right, that they've never seen. $300 or $400 or $500 or $600 at a time. And I want you to think about that. We're talking about 30, 40 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, this is happening. So, you know, $400 20 years ago is a lot of money. It's still a decent amount of money now, but then that was a lot of money. So you show some young person money that they've never seen in their entire lives, and all he wants is a feet rub, and the next thing you know, they got you doing more, but they're offering more money. It's one of those things, man, just classic grooming, classic setting people up. These folks were demonic, man, and they were something else.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. Being a defense attorney, I know you're sharp as they get. What do you think about all the different nuances with Epstein's murder, the camera being out?
Could you hold on for a second, Mel?
Yes, go ahead.
Hold on for a quick second.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the channel. We're going to give Calvin a break here. Please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. We have a criminal defense attorney on, Calvin Johnson. Feel free, if you have any questions, to put them in the chat. We're going to go through these questions one by one to make sure you get the answers. And we're just waiting for him to come back. Earlier today, we were covering Donald Trump and also the president of Ukraine. So we're going to be talking about that and so much more. I'm pretty sure you saw the event that happened with Nicki Minaj in regards to the AmFest. So we're going to get to that as well. Okay, Calvin.
Sorry about that. My man just had to make sure. Don't want anything interrupting us now. Go ahead and ask that question again.
Okay. Yeah. So, and when it comes to Epstein, right, what are the chances that his camera would be out? He would have an abundance of sheets. 2 officers are knocked out sleeping. You have a minute missing from the key video. Like, what's really going on here? What do you think?
Man, that looks like a classic setup where somebody got sent in to do something. That's just what it looks like to me. To me, he just knew so much about so many people. And if you are probably one of the, if not the most known inmate in the entire facility, and then they're going to put 2 guards on you that are going to go to sleep, there's going to be a minute missing of the video. There should be extra cameras installed to make sure that every moment of you is being watched. But I think that sometimes things like that are done by omission. When I say omission, creating situations where people can have the opportunity, where they can get the opportunity to get in and something can happen to the inmate. And that's what it looked like to me here, because to me, somebody of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein's stature being in there and not being monitored enough, you pay overtime to watch that guy. You pay overtime to watch that guy. And the fact that that wasn't done and all of the other additional security lapses, that just does not make any sense whatsoever to me.
You know, I have to ask, though, what are the chances that he would unalive himself and also write a letter to this other gentleman about the president of the United States? It just seemed like there's something not adding up.
And see, you know, that's the thing too. But with that being said, you know, Jeffrey could be writing this letter just to make sure he cover his bases. He could have been writing that letter to know that, hey, I know Trump, I know you're sending somebody after me, so I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I write this letter. So if something happens to me, they're gonna know about this letter, and they're gonna know about how you feel about the young girls and your connection to those young girls. And we've wondered a long time about Mr. Trump and younger women. I just remember when he first did his first presidential run, when he came down the escalator and the young girls were going up the escalator, and just the way he looked at him, you know, I was just like, I don't know, that looks a little iffy to me. So when you think about things like that and you look at his connection to Epstein and all of the stuff that Mr. Epstein was doing, how cunning and manipulative and powerful he was, man, it really makes you think about everything that we've ever seen.
You know, what's troubling is that I think it was Inside Edition. I'm not sure the exact, don't quote me on the show, but there was a video where Donald Trump is talking to Billy Bush and he says he grabs the girls by the, the midsection, right? In this letter, it substantiates that statement. What do you think about that?
And see, that's when you put two and two together. I mean, it's a puzzle piece. Y'all know we played with them little puzzles when we was little, and then sometimes you're drawing some on the etch a sketch and it makes sense. Nobody shook the etch a sketch. When I'm looking at this whole situation, you look it back at what he said on that video, and you look at what Mr. Epstein is saying about him now. The more of that you see, the more that you wonder about what his connection to younger women are and what does he like and what he doesn't like. And those are some of the things that you do. And you have to think about this too as well. What does Trump like to do? He doesn't like to appear old. He doesn't like to appear out of shape. He wants to appear young. Look at the situation he does with his hair. He doesn't tell people his weight. He dresses in a way to hide some of the things about himself that is getting older. So you got somebody like that, and you got some allegations about young girls. Man, you got to really be careful when you see those two things pushing up against each other.
Does it say anything that the fact that the president, Donald Trump, was actually president when Epstein was unalived?
Bingo.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you think about that. He was. And you think about somebody like Epstein, and then all of a sudden Maxwell is in a low security prison, being able to walk and do whatever she wants to do. Now, what other person in American history accused of being connected with somebody like this gets this kind of light treatment? Name me one. Even if you had information that was going to substantially help the government, they don't treat you this good. So that's the thing that, using our common sense, and people in the comment section, if you support Trump or you support the Democrats or you support whoever you want to support, that's fine. You can come over and make all the comments you want. But politics aside, I want to pay attention. Politics aside, I want you to pay attention. When there's smoke, usually there's fire.
Okay, George says, wrong. Trump never said he did that to any woman. He said he could.
See, once again, these are the type comments that come from certain people's supporters. I can never say that about I could never say that about anybody, man. That just wouldn't come on my mouth, man. I mean, to say that I got the power to do that, I just grab them by. I mean, who does that? Like, what decent human being does that becomes president? I mean, you got to think about that. And even in this situation, we're to the point in America where you got people making excuses for that. He's saying he could. One word changes it all. Oh, the rest of that statement is full blown homemade apple pie American, I guess. And see, that's where we have the problem. Y'all know that's wrong. Whether you like Mr. Trump or not, sometimes you have to just admit, yeah, that's not what you would want to do. If you had a daughter, would you want around somebody who said that? If you had a sister, would you want them around somebody who said that? If you had a 14, 15 to 16-year-old, would you want somebody who said that around your daughter? No, you would not. Regardless of politics, just use common sense. What would you do?
All right. Could you take a moment to tell everybody what you do?
First of all, I'm attorney Calvin D. Johnson. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I have been practicing almost for 25 years. I'm in my 24th year. I practice out of Dallas, Texas. I do local, state, and federal criminal defense. I also hold degrees from the Howard Payne University, Go Yellow Jacket Sting 'em. I hold a degree in political science and history, and I hold a Juris Doctorate, a law degree from St. Mary's University School of Law in San Antonio, Texas. And I finished at the High School for Public Services, Government and Law here in Dallas, Texas, which is a magnet school where only our brightest students go to. I'm a 1990 graduate of that school, so I have been involved in politics and law ever since I was in high school. I'm a former Dallas City Council candidate, and I'm actively involved in the community and politics as well. And I have a nonprofit called the Sarin Foundation, where we do neighborhood cleanups and we assist seniors in getting their properties up to code. So I am involved in the community and I'm knowledgeable about law and politics, and that's why Mel has me rocking out with him right now.
Yes, indeed. So, what do you think about the fact that Donald Trump has used tariffs to really bully the world? And now he's saying because of the tariffs, he has made the world so much better and America a better place.
Well, most of the time I'm looking up and I'm seeing a lot of people getting laid off. I hear a lot of companies talking about how tariffs have hurt them. I work with a company out of Canada. We import things and it has hurt us because of the 25%. It's caused the American customer to have to pay that 25%. Sometimes they don't want to, and they may look at another product. And I'm an American person who has an additional business, not just law. I do other stuff too as well. So all that, but the tariffs helping us, man. I don't see where it's helping us. Is going into the government coffers. I don't see any of it. And then once again, the tariffs are really they're kind of anti-free market, and I thought that's what the Republican Party was about, being free markets and having the freedom to be able to buy and sell what you want. And I just don't think that these tariffs have been well thought out. I think that there are numbers of consequences to the American companies that Mr. Trump kind of refuses to acknowledge because of what he's doing. And I'm not a fan of the tariffs, man. It hurts everybody, and we end up paying a lot more in products as opposed to saving money.
All right. Could you address Jimmy Jennings? He has a
You
comment
were
for you.
you were worried about what Trump said, and the Democrats are frauding the American people out of billions and taxpayer dollars. You ain't too bright at all, are you? Well, if I wasn't too bright, I just think that I'm smart enough to probably not put a guy who's a billionaire in the presidential office and believe that he wants to help me, and that he has the same problems that I have. I have thousandaire problems. I don't have millionaire and billionaire problems. So I just think that anytime we start talking like that, it's a political thing. The whole deal is, and me and Mel, we have this conversation all the time. People go hard Democrat, hard Republican, and I think at some point, I think that both parties sometimes can be complicit in making us fight against each other while they run to the back with all of the money. And unfortunately, in this particular situation, we talk about like the Democrats defrauding America. How about those $12 billion in Argentinian beef that they're going to buy, when he told these American farmers that he was going to actually help them? He got these American farmers to vote for him, support him, get out there and have the Trump 2020 flags out in front of their farms. And it got elected and went and bought $12 billion worth of Argentinian beef. These are kind of things that I talk about. Some of these folks, just so that they can be anti-democrat, will let's cut their nose off just to be accepted by a group who's actually stiff arming them and hurting them. And this is what we talk about on our show. We're very, very transparent when it comes to Mr. Trump. When it comes to the Democrats, we're gonna say what we got to say, and we're gonna tell the truth. If you come over here with the political comments, hey, it is what it is. And I always try to tell people, I got somebody else saying these people are so jealous of Trump's success. And it's one of those things where I just look at it and I go like, wow, like he's going out here literally attacking Nigeria. Inflation is at an all-time high. Amazon plant in Missouri last night closed on them cold turkey. Think about that, Mel. Some folks went to work last night, was told that the plant was closed, no warning. 4,000 jobs gone just like that. And in small town America who voted for Donald Trump. And then I look at these comments and then I go like, wow. Then they talk about Minnesota and all these other places and all these defrauded. Hey, listen, Minnesota voted a whole nother direction. Let's talk about the red states. Let's talk about Oklahoma. Let's talk about places like Missouri and some of these other places who, man, have been decimated because they have lost all of these companies and they've lost their jobs. And then that's something that we got to talk about. Regardless of politics, let's look at what's happening. There's been a lot of job loss. Prices are going up. People are getting ready to lose their insurance coverage because the ACA is about to expire, and we have a Republican Party who controls all three houses, and we won't even vote on it to really extend it. So I want you to think about all of those things. But even as we talk about all of those things right now, we bring people to facts. You still got some supporters of one particular guy No matter what, they're going to continue to defend until they are penniless and they don't have any health insurance. But that's life. That's what we have to deal with. Today's politics has become not using our common sense and has really become so partisan that if you're a Democrat and you're on the left, everything they do is right. And if you're on the right and you're a Republican, everything they do is right. There's no using of our common sense anymore. We just fight for tribes. We don't fight for what's right anymore.
I just saw a report saying that Newsom is geared to beat J.D. Vance. Did you see that?
He's geared to what? Beat J.D. Vance, to fight J.D. Vance for presidency?
For polling, yeah, they say he's polling high.
He probably is polling high because I think that some of the stuff that Mr. Trump is doing, I mean, you're attacking Nigeria, the prices are not going down, there's massive job loss, and I'm not the most comfortable and confident person in Gavin Newsom myself, I'll be honest, because that's what we bring, this transparency, this conversation we're having. I wonder about Gavin Newsom. California does have some problems, but I tell you what, if I'm gonna have problems one way or the other, I really have problems with my freedom, because at this point, Mr. Trump sending people out, snatching people up, these Republican legislatures, they're what in Texas, the governor has come up with like this super prosecutor. So if you're in a county like Dallas or Houston that is Democratic, and y'all decide that we're not going to prosecute something, he's going to send down his super prosecutor to override you. And see, these are the things that come from the Republican Party that people like myself, we're worried about. Whether you're a Republican or not, somebody coming in and overriding the will of your voters in your own county that you live in is not something that people want to happen. So with that being said, man, that's something that we all got to start thinking about, Mel.
Yeah, a lot of people want you to give your viewpoint on Minnesota when it comes to the Somalians and the fraud. There's a video.
Listen, I'll tell you what, a lot of Somalians did not vote Democratic. If you know what happened, a lot of them voted Republican. They even have a leader up there that basically was one of Mr. Trump's biggest supporters. If those Somali people up there are defrauding America, they need to go to jail. If they take money out of taxpayers' pockets, they need to go to jail. I don't care who they voted for. They could be independent. They can vote Republican. They can vote Democrat. They can vote Libertarian. They can be, I don't care who they vote for and what they're doing. If they're stealing money, they should go to jail. Whether they voted Democratic or Republican, they should go to jail. And if they're not citizens and they're stealing money, get them up out of here. That's just the truth, period. And I don't mix any bones.
In one of the videos with Nick Shirley did, the lady says, yeah, I'm the owner. And then she said, oh, what kids? Like, it's supposed to be a daycare. What do you say for that?
And see, those are the types of things that are happening. If they're doing that, they need to go to jail. They need to be arrested. They need to pay the money back, and they need to get up out of there. And that's just the truth. If you're going to defraud Americans, if you're going to defraud taxpayers, I don't care if you're black, white, green, orange, anybody, whoever you are, you need to go to jail. That goes for the president. That goes for the Somalis. That goes for the Democrats. That goes for the far right Republicans. That goes for the independents. That goes for every single person. If you are going to defraud people out of taxpayer money, and if you're going to take money that does not belong to you for federal programs that you don't have a right to have the money for, you should go to jail. If you're not a citizen, you should get put up out of here after you go to jail. And that's just the truth.
Okay. Gamer says they're going to destroy us.
What is Gamer? They're going to destroy us. Who is the who? Who is the they?
I think he's talking about the Somali.
And that's the thing. My whole deal is, and I will tell you, the Somalis up there in Minnesota are quick to separate themselves from African Americans that are foundational African Americans. They will tell you in a minute they are not black, they are Somali, and they are Somali, and they put themselves in a situation where if they're taking taxpayer money, then they need to go to jail. That's on them. They need to be prosecuted. Let them go and do what they got to do. They got to pay for what they're doing. I'm not for somebody stealing and running away with hard-earned dollars that really need to go to kids that need help. I'm a decent human being. Regardless of politics, I'm a decent human being first. A lot of us really, really want to cap for our parties first. I'm a decent human being first. So if somebody on the Democratic or Republican side does something that's not decent, I'm going to call it out. Somebody said the tariffs forced my company to move orders back to the USA from Asia. We have now record orders and had to hire 200 plus to meet the demand. All jobs making $30 an hour. Hey man, if that's going to do that for your company, that's great. I'm glad that worked out in your situation, in that particular situation. But there are a number of situations that I see on YouTube, and I know some people personally that literally had to cut workers in production because of these tariffs. So for some people, it may work out, but I hear a lot of stories about it not working out.
Okay. What do you think? Let's move on to Venezuela now. What do you think about the continued exploding of the boats? We don't want to say the B word.
It's oil. They're doing what they got to do for oil. I know we're talking about the drug boats and whatever, or we got to be careful when I say the drug word, the narcotics word, but it's not really about the narcotics. It's about oil and control of the oil, and being able to push countries into bending their knee over oil, and that's just what it is. That's the truth. I think the same thing as in Nigeria. What country has some of the most oil in that part of Africa? Nigeria. So we got a tax in Nigeria and Venezuela. That's not a coincidence to you. We gotta open up. A lot of this is about money and about slapping the back of all of your close friends that are in the oil industry in America.
Right, because a lot of people say most of the drugs come through Mexico, right?
Yeah. You're right.
But yet we're out there going up to Venezuela, right?
We went all the way to Venezuela, man, and that's the thing. That's a long way from here. So I don't understand it. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. What can we do, Mel?
Not much at all. Since we're heading out of the region, let's talk about Candace Owens and her relationship with Israel and Ben Shapiro. Do you think it's dangerous? A lot of people say it's dangerous for her to keep barking at Israel and their movements.
It is. It's very dangerous. Those people are powerful. There's some people that say that they did something to Mr. Kirk. And so you got to start thinking about those things. When you have a powerful country like that, that is historically powerful, that has been around for since the beginning of time, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of power, and a lot of infrastructure that they have to be able to get to people when other people can't get to people. I mean, they have some very well-trained spies, soldiers, people that can get to folks that you can't get to in other places. And so you got to be very careful when you start talking about that.
Is there any amount of money worth putting your life in jeopardy?
There's just not. There's not. There's not. I always try to tell people, you won't put your life in jeopardy. And I tell you, and even when you put your life in jeopardy, and then even if you get hurt or something, think about the quality of life you have once something happens to you. Nothing's worth putting your life in harm's way for stuff.
Right. But it seems that, somehow or another, she has a strong following, but they're concerned about the influence that she has, and they try to call it anti-Semitic. What do you think about that?
The reason why is for the longest she was probably an ally of theirs until Israel and Palestine started having these problems. And she knows a lot of the insides of how they operate. They were very comfortable with her. They gave her information that other people did not get. She has a lot of the inside game. She knows how to run the plays that they're running, and she knows how to expose them. And I think that Mrs. Owens needs to be extremely careful, because when that happens and you're in that kind of position, man, that could, if you say too much, you do too much, those people could really come after you hard.
But when you look at the death of Charlie Kirk, she brings up valid questions in regards to how weird it looks, people moving around him at the time. Immediately afterward, they took down the cameras from behind him, and even the guy jumping off of the roof of a large building. Somebody should say something, right?
Yeah, man, and when I was looking at another, like a Melanie, I forgot what her last name is. She does a podcast, and it looked like those guys were back there making signals, standing behind him.
Bro,
And if that is true, if those guys back there making signals are true, hey man, something's going on there, man. Said this thing don't smell right, man. It don't smell right, Mel. It don't look right. There had to be something bigger going on here.
there's videos of a guy passing right after it happened, right before it happened. He passes the guy something, he puts it in his pocket. Another guy's giving signals and signs, and all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
he takes a hit, and then some of the
Mm-hmm.
guys think that he was actually shot from behind. Like, all of these
Mm-hmm.
theories online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And so when I'm looking at that, the Israeli Mossad, man, they're something else, man. They're top level. They're one of the most sought after, well trained intelligence services in the world.
Right. In fact, she's following the airplanes that left the airport immediately after, and so forth and so on. So this is where a lot of the contention is coming from Israel in her regard.
Yeah, man, she need to be quiet because when I say that, people start paying attention to what she's saying because she knows a lot on the inside and she knows what they have the power to do. And she needs to be careful, man. Because if something happens to her, I'm definitely going to say that there wasn't an accident.
Right, right. So we're going to move on from that. Thank you for your input, because everybody in the audience pretty much is talking about the insurance prices hiking up high because of this changes. They wanted to kick Obamacare out, but
Hmm.
with the changes, we might be in for a tough row ahead.
And see, that's the thing. Like, Republicans are in charge of everything. Why don't they do something for America that America can afford? Why didn't they make that their priority? They control all three houses. Is that correct, Mel? President's Republican, right, Mel?
Yes, sir.
They have the House of Representatives, right?
Yes, sir.
And they have the Senate, right?
Yes, sir.
And they have like a 3-6 margin, 6-3 margin on Supreme Court, right?
Yes, sir.
And they have a whole bunch of federal judges that got appointed Trump's last term and this term. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So why is it somebody else's fault that something is not getting done? To me, if I'm the Republicans, if I'm really trying to help people, hey, listen, let's sow into the economy. If we're gonna spend some money, to spend it in the economy, number one. Number two, let's get something done on immigration. I do not believe people should just be able to walk over here. I get that. Whatever the circumstances are somewhere else, you just can't walk over here and live over here and that's just how it's gonna be. I don't want that. But do something else. And if you know your constituency doesn't have health insurance, figure out ways to make it affordable so people can have affordable health insurance. Don't just sit back, oh, it's the Democrats' fault. Well, they're not in power right now. You are. Do something. I mean, it's just common sense. That's what I expect government to do. You win an election, they elect you, do something. It's not that hard.
Right. What do you think when you see a guy like JD Vance and he's so fierce against Trump, 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 and then all of a sudden he's Trump's second man in command?
And see, that's what I wonder about him. A lot of people just they're not fire breathing dragons. They're just puffing smoke. And that's just when I look at JD Vance, that's what I see. I don't see him being some strong leader that has made all these great decisions to do things. I just think that he's a good cheerleader for Trump. Outside of that, I haven't really saw anything that he's done to impress me. But those are the things that I get concerned about.
Allegedly, he was famous prior to or viral before, the political, because he was making out with a couch. What do you think about that?
See, these are the things that we talk about. I mean, you look back and you look at some of the things that other people have done and some of their history. And then the fact that, a lot of people in MAGA world do not like the fact that he's not married to an American woman. And MAGA world, that's a big deal over there. And so you got to think about that. That's where you got to be. You look at him, you look at his the way he moves, and you look at that particular party, part of the party that he's in, he has a lot of issues.
Okay. Now, Mr. How Hot says he's still dealing with the Biden mess. Give him another year, talking about Donald Trump.
This is what I tell people, man. You know, it's one of those things where when I'm listening to a lot of this, it's just like, Mr. Trump, oh, we're still recovering from Biden. No, look, people don't want to hear that. What are you going to do moving forward to fix it? Are you fixing it? I don't care what happened 3 or 4 years ago. I want to know what's going to happen now and in the future. I don't drive my car looking backwards. Listen, I got a business I'm running. I got a daughter that's in school, and I want her to do well, and I want her to have a future, and I want to be able to continue to pay my bills and be able to take care of what I got to take care of myself and my business and my business people's families that work for me. How are you going to help me do that? If people are losing their jobs and they can't hire me and they can't spend money, that hurts. If people can't afford to pay their bills and then you got families that have to step up and help, that hurts. When people go to the store and can't afford to buy simple, normal things that they need for their lives, man, that hurts. So do something about it. I don't want to hear about who did what a year or 2 or 3 ago. You told me you were going to fix it. People elected you to fix it. Now go fix it.
Okay. Kenneth says, Mr. How Hot, it wasn't Biden's mess. The economy was on a slow recovery before Biden left office.
So, and then this is the whole thing. So giving multi-billion dollar tax cuts, $1 trillion tax cuts to the rich, that's going to bring us out of this mess. And this is what just drives me nuts. I mean, people do this whole thing about, oh, Biden's mess and this is pot. Listen, regardless who's in office, yeah, you got elected. You're in your first year. Well, you got 3 more years of this. I don't want to hear you belly aching 3 more years saying what Biden did a year ago. Get it done. The American people want stuff done. Do something on immigration. Do something on healthcare. Do something about these prices. Everybody wants that. Nobody wants to hear excuses anymore.
But how can you take that approach when the president thinks the prices are beautiful and these are the record low prices for gas, eggs, everything?
He's a billionaire. These things ain't record low. I go get gas and I go buy eggs and stuff is still high. Go to some of these restaurants. Think about it. Fast food restaurants are having problems because their prices is getting so close to the regular sit-down restaurants that people are just saying, I ain't going to have fast food. I might pay a little bit more just to go have a sit-down meal. So that's how bad this economy is. Think about that for a minute.
Right. So how do you balance the economy being rough and then you see such great fraud throughout the land?
Man, that's the other thing. We got to get this fraud under control. Whether it be some of these government contracts, whether it be some of these government programs that are happening in Minnesota, whether it be other places in the entire country, we got to get the fraud under control, and we really got to get the help to the people.
I know a lot of minority people who would love to get government grants to start a business. So how in the world do people come from another country and get millions of dollars?
Listen, they come in and they're dedicated to their craft, and our laws and our situations and our agencies and the way we do stuff in America has allowed them the ability to be able to do that. And that's just a shame. Man, let me grab something to drink just a second. Hold on, okay?
All right, very good. Okay, guys, so we're gonna take a second here. Let's see if we can get this going. What is the issue here? Okay, let's see if we can get this. 1 second. Here we go. All right, so there you have it. Let's get to some of the comments while Calvin takes a break. Let's see here. Mr. How Hot says the governor needs jail time also. Which governor are you talking about in regards to that? Oh, you're talking about
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. All right. Very good. IB Thing says there's a word. It's criminals. Okay. Fryer says black MAGA. It's an oxymoron. Okay, guys. Keep the comments coming. Okay. You back, Calvin?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And that's
right.
the truth. When we talk about this, right? some of these people, and we say black mega as an oxymoron. I heard that the Fresh and Fit guys tried to go to a Turning Point USA event, and I guess Myron was not allowed in there. And so these are the kind of things where we talk about their movements they're not ashamed that they don't want certain folks in there. They're not ashamed that people that look like myself and maybe look like Mel are not invited. And that's okay. I don't want to go. But at the same time, let's not act like you're not doing that. Let's not act like, hey, this is what you want to do. And but America, we really, really need to pay attention to what's happening here. And nothing against Turning Point USA. They can do what they want to do. But with that being said, they are trying to push into high schools. They're trying to push into every facet of life. And I think that if you're not of that ilk and you don't belong, you need to pay attention to what they're doing, because they're really trying to make sure that that they put in place certain things that are not going to be beneficial to you.
Okay. Abi Thing says all those Somalis are Americans.
And that's the thing. A lot of them are Americans. I heard that yes, there's a few that are not, but I heard a lot of them are Americans that came over. They came over from Somalia. A lot of them were born here. A lot of them had been naturalized. But there is an element over there that has not been naturalized, that came here to get out of the issues that were going on in their country. And with that being said, if they're involved in fraud, if they're involved in a lot of this feed the children, fake housing, fake meals, scams that are costing Minnesota's hundreds of millions of dollars, from what I'm told, then they need to go to jail.
All right. Very good. So I just want to switch up a little bit here and talk about this whole issue with Nicki Minaj also going to AmFest. You just
Oh
started
my
off
God.
talking about it. What do you think about it, her position, and also the backlash that she received for that event?
So, because I don't want to get in trouble, Nicki Minaj's husband has the register. In addition to that, her brother is in jail, if I'm correct. And when he gets out, he gonna have to register. And when you look at some of the stuff that she said in her songs, and when you look at some of the history that the movement itself has spoken out against her and against the music that she's making, I'm trying to wonder what in the world, why would you go and do what you're doing? And it's a slap in the face to people that have supported her. It's a slap in the face to people that literally worshiped her as a fan and really invested time, money, and effort in her over the last 20 years to make her one of the biggest female hip hop rap stars ever. But she's running to the arms of the people who spoke against her. And she's running to the arms of people that want to hurt the majority of the people that are your fans. What in the world is she doing? There has to be a reason why she's doing it. Maybe she's trying to get her husband a pardon or something. That's what everybody's saying, or trying to get her brother a pardon. Or maybe they promised her both. But this is just weird. And she doesn't even fit. Look at about some of the stuff that she rapped about. Turning Point USA and those people, they're not about that kind of behavior, the stuff that she describes in her songs. And why would they even want her over there? This is just weird. And I just can't believe Nikki would do it. But sometimes they say once they give you the money, it comes with strings attached. Maybe that's one of those situations.
So let's take her for an example. She has a lot of followers, people that support her. But let's say sometimes she feel like her fans turn their backs on her, and she's like, "Forget it. I'm gonna go where people are showing me love." What's wrong with that?
Showing her love. I don't know if they're showing her love, Mel. When they talk about you like you're part of the problem that they're fighting against, and then all of a sudden you think they want to hug you. Nah, that's not a hug. Their arms are not coming out for a hug. Their arms are coming out for a stiff arm. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I know maybe some of her fans get on her nerves, Maybe they don't treat her right all the time. Maybe they support her as much as she probably feels like she needs to be supported. But that kind of behavior, Mel, when they pointed to you as what was wrong with America, then all of a sudden they want to hug you. There's something going on there. It's weird. It's just weird.
Before Charlie Kirk died, he put out a video where he was recorded saying how Nicki Minaj music destroys Black America and so forth and so on. So, do you think that this whole situation has something to do with Israel?
It could. It could have something to do with Israel.
Let me explain to you, okay? So, before Charlie Kirk died, he had written a letter to to Netanyahu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he says, listen, the college kids, they don't have a good view of Israel, right? So you need to work on this and change that. Then he was unalived, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, we see Floyd Mayweather going to Israel talking about, oh, I love Israel. Israel is for me, you know what I mean? And then you see Nicki Minaj. Maybe this is some sort of propaganda to get Black people looking favorable to Israel.
I think it is too, and I think that there are a lot of Jewish people in America that run a lot of conglomerates. They run a lot of the record labels. They run a lot of the TV stations. They run a lot of media, and I think that they may be pushing these stars to speak out on behalf of Israel and against Palestine, and I think that that's true. I go back to a clip of Malcolm X talking about who our leaders are. Right? He said our leaders should not be comedians, entertainers, singers, and dancers, and public figures. They should not be our leaders like that. In what other community and what other race of people are the rappers, comedians, dancers, and people that perform? What other race of people are those people considered the leaders of that particular race or cultural people? Nowhere but ours. So I remember Malcolm X talking about that and how I've always kind of looked at that and agreed with him a lot on that because some of those folks are not even equipped to lead us in the areas that we need to be led in. Nikki's a great rapper. She's a great performer in terms of her hip hop pedigree. But I don't want to be speaking with her about public policy and politics and what we should be doing. I mean, what does she know about that? What has justified her to be talking about that? I just don't understand that. That's something that bothers me, and that also makes me give credence to what you're saying. Political powers that be may be making some of these American stars speak out in favor of Israel, especially if they're extremely successful, like Floyd and Nikki are.
Okay. I don't know if you saw any snippet of when Nicki Minaj said that JD Vance was an assassin. And I think in her song, she uses the word lightly to, emphasize someone that's whatever. What do you think about that?
She spoke against him. Now she's speaking for him. Now she's on the same team as him. I just think that somebody at the label or her conglomerate told her, hey, we really need you to do this for us. We've taken care of you. We made you a big star. We can make you a bigger star. We might be able to help you deal with some of your issues with your husband and your brother. But we need you to do us a solid. And I think that's what these folks are being called to do. Slap the one hand for the other. That's what it is. They're glad-handed right now.
Okay. Wayne Smith says they're only serving the very wealthy and those who are in powerful positions.
And that makes a lot of sense. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why we got to be careful when we follow these folks. The average rapper that's successful doesn't have the same lifestyle. They ain't got the same bills you got. Man, they got a nanny. They got a driver. They don't clean up. they don't clean up, so they damn sure don't go to Target to buy no comment. You know what I mean? So you got to start thinking about little bitty stuff like that. I know that's kind of random, but think about it. When was the last time Nicki Minaj went to the grocery store and bought some comment and a mop, a broom? When was the last time she went to the store and bought some milk and eggs? She actually walked in, paid for it, and bought the milk and eggs herself. People got to start thinking about this. You're electing people that have no idea of what's going on out here to even speak on it. So you got to start thinking about that. They're sending these type folks to speak to you, to tell you what to do, and they ain't been in the grocery store in about 10 years apiece each. They ain't been at the grocery store, Target, or Walmart in 10 years, all of them. But you want them to be the people that speak for you? That's not wise.
Chef Dog says gas is under $2.50. You're tripping.
Hey, man, I like the gas being at $2.50. That's a good deal. But they getting their money back when I go to the store and pay for the groceries, so they just taking it right back. They give me a good discount on the gas, then the groceries are still high. So that's when you start thinking about it. I mean, it's a trade-off. So it is what it is.
Okay. God help us, says MAGA Maxwell already got away.
Bingo. And she may have, because they got her in a cushy, low security prison. I don't know if she's in Seagoville. She might be in Seagoville. But Seagoville is an area outside of Dallas where they have a federal prison. It's very low. So where they sent the nice people. So they might have her there. So there's a couple of places in Texas that are very low level, low defender, where nothing really happens to you. It's very light. I mean, you can damn near walk off the place, to be honest with you. So they might have Maxwell there.
Okay, very good. So how do you think we're looking in regards to midterm elections now that all of these Epstein files are going haywire?
I think the Republicans are having a problem. You have a lot of people that are deciding not to return. What's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene decided not to run this time. You got Jasmine Crockett that's going to run against Tallarico to go against the senator here, John Cornyn here. You have a lot of people that were in safe districts because of redistricting. They're in trouble now because a lot of people are not going to vote the way they were voting. And a lot of people in America, not just Texas, and a lot of these states, they were thinking that they were going to get continued certain numbers of support from the Hispanic community. But this Hispanic community does not like how this president has treated Hispanics, how he's treated the people that he's deporting, and how he has said some things that probably have ruffled some feathers against those. And then a lot of them have lost their friends and family members to being deported. And then just the daily fear of, even if you are a citizen, there was a situation where this ICE truck was following a lady home. She's a citizen. They started asking her questions. You got men in masks, and they're riding around in trucks. And of course, they got ICE stuff on. And the lady starts running and literally had to run in the house. Man, her husband coming out and says, like, what are you doing? Well, we just wanted to know. She's a citizen. What are you chasing her? You're big, strong men in a van. And they've heard about people getting snatched up and getting sent to places even when you are a citizen. So, they have kind of counted on the Hispanic community to vote a certain way, but I don't think that community likes how they're being treated now, even the ones that are citizens. And so I think that they have a problem all over the country when it comes to the midterms. They're not going to get the level of participation from the Hispanic community in their favor that they had gotten in the past.
Okay, Chef Dog and also Charles are basically saying the Nicki Minaj crossed over and you need to get over it.
Get over it? I don't look. I'm over it. She can go over there, stay over there until they take the knife on her, stab her, and push her back on our side. But we're not gonna want her back. So I'm just being honest with you. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna use her. They're gonna tell her what to do, and then they're gonna send her right on back over here. So it's like I don't care about that. I mean, that's just what it is.
Okay, very good. Now, when it comes to, because about an hour ago we watched together on the channel Donald Trump giving his speech along with the president of Ukraine. A lot of people feel that Donald Trump is walking Ukraine into the hands of Russia. It's not a fair deal. They're going to lose land and a lot of things else. What do you think about this deal?
I think they are going to walk him in. I think they're going to walk Zelensky right into a bear trap, and he's going to get popped for it. Putin doesn't respect Trump. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. And he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And he's going to put Mr. Zelensky in a bad situation. And I just wonder kind of what it is with Putin and Trump, that he's not as hard on Mr. Putin as he is on everybody else. But if I'm Zelensky, I wouldn't trust Mr. Trump when it came to Ukraine, especially how he's been with Russia. And Mr. Zelensky probably needs to go look for help from someone else because I don't think he's going to get it under this administration.
Okay. Big Sean says all you're doing is dividing America now.
What do you mean? All you're doing is dividing America now? It's not all you doing. You're dividing America. It's a situation where you got certain people that are in power there that they feel like politics has become this, right? It's not about the Republicans and the Democrats. What happens is now one side gets elected and they try to punish the other. The other side gets elected and try to punish the other. Instead of actually governing the 4 years, they spend 4 years trying to punish each other. And doing while both of them are doing it, some parties are really, really good in making people think that they're for them until they get elected and they do the opposite. And then the other party, they say they're for the people, then they do too much for their side, and that causes a problem. So you got a whole situation here that you really got to think about what's going on with it. It's a lot.
Okay. Michael says people elect with their eyes.
They do elect with their eyes, not their brains. And that's why I say when it comes to Nicki Minaj, a lot of people like Nicki Minaj, and she can do what she want to do. I ain't got a problem with her. But with that being said, I would not support her music anymore. Not that I supported it in the beginning a whole lot, but she's not my cup of tea. Definitely not my cup of tea now. Watching what she's doing, because if somebody talks about you like that and you still go over there trying to just be on their team, where they basically stiff armed you and told you that your behavior was trash and it was causing black culture to be trash. That's basically what they said. And you still go over there, I don't want to deal with you.
All right. Jeb Common, welcome back. Nice to have you here as always. Guys, take a moment, hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. We have multiple shows. In fact, we have another show tonight at 9 p.m. with Mama Flips as well. Calvin, could you take a moment to tell the new people who you are and what you do?
I'm attorney Calvin D. Johnson. I've been a criminal defense lawyer for almost 25 years. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. I do state, local, and federal criminal defense. I also hold degrees in political science and history from Howard Payne University. In addition to that, I have been a past political candidate, and I can be reached at the email of attorneycalvindjohnson@gmail.com. That's the whole word, attorney spelled out, attorneycalvindjohnson@gmail.com. I can be reached at my website, theywon'tletmeout.com. And I can be reached at the phone number 214-565-5600.
Okay. When Donald Trump first became president, if there was any place in America that he would possibly send the National Guard, I think the average American would say Chicago. What do you say for the fact that the National Guard can't really go and do what they want to do there in Chirac?
I think number one, Chirac does need some help in terms of making sure that people are safe. My concern is it might not be best to send ICE agents up there that I don't think that they've been properly trained to go into urban areas and deal with people. In addition to that, I think that some of these ICE agents have dealt with not just the brown people a particular way, but the African Americans who have lived there for years. They're being mistreated, being thrown on the floor, houses, doors kicked in, being told to lay down on the floor. I think that you got to be extremely careful when you invite somebody to your city that didn't know a little bit lay of the land. Think about it. The local police officers and the local sheriff's departments, they know the hot areas. They know important areas of town when it comes to Chicago. You bring some newly trained ICE agent and put them in that environment, that's dangerous, not just for the ICE agent, but for the people in general, because you have a poorly, shortly trained ICE agent in an urban jungle, and he don't know his way around, and the criminals do. And that's what I think about that. You got to be very careful about how you use federal troops when it comes to states and cities.
You know, a lot of the guys from Venezuela, these cartel members and gangbangers, had set up shop in the middle of Chicago. How in the world? You have to be a really strong character to pull that off, right?
Yeah, you do. And that's why I say there has to be a way to go in and deal with them. The local police department needs to deal with them. If they want the federal government's help, then they should secure that, but only if they need their help, and they should try to lead that. But I think the federal government going in there like that, not knowing the lay of the land, doing whatever they want to do, and they can hurt potential regular citizens. I think I have a problem with that. But with that being said, if the local government says, "Hey, okay, come help us out with this," then I think that's what should happen. But I think it should be up to them.
All right, good to see you, Brian Cantrell. Brian basically says if the economy really takes over the second quarter of next year, then the midterms is definitely going to go to the Republicans. What do you think?
I think it's more than the economy right now. The economy is a major part of it. But people are concerned about their rights. They're concerned about health care. They're concerned about um, the way that Mr. Trump has ruled in terms of trying to take away some individual rights that we have as Americans. And there's a lot of people that fear that feel that. So it won't just be the economy that makes a difference in terms of if he is elected or not. Um, Hopefully the economy bounces back. I wish well for our economy all the time, regardless of who's president. But I think it's more than one issue when it comes to Mr. Trump. I think it's a lot of not just financial issues and economy, but I also think it's about control constitutional rights and the direction of this country. I mean, he's out calling people garbage and saying stuff and doing stuff that is just not conducive to providing great leadership for an entire country. So people feel like that you're going to advocate for them too as well, even though you're not in their party. I don't know if he kind of exudes that right now, and I think that's going to be a continuing problem for him.
A lot of Hispanics and also Somalians voted for Trump. They had groups that were advocating for the president, helped him win, right, in their own way. And then he turned around and called them names. Do you think the next time around they've learned their lesson?
He called them garbage. Let's just keep it real. Some of the same people he had vote for him, he called them garbage. And then some of the other same people down in Miami, he called them thugs. So he called those folks garbage and thugs after those groups of immigrants or people that were not foundationally here or supported him. And I don't think the next time around that support is going to be that strong.
Right. Okay. Clement Gonzalez says we really need a president that sticks to his policies.
We do. And I try to tell people too, listen, let's do something with immigration. Let's do something with healthcare. Everybody shouldn't just be able to walk over here. I mean, I understand that. I get that. Tax dollars should not go to people who just got over here. They should go to Americans that are already here, and they should go to our military, former military people who serve the military. We should be taking care of them. We should be using that money to do stuff for them. I believe in that. And that's the thing.
Okay. Jeb Common says even though he supports Trump, he wants him to tighten the screws on Russia because any win for Russia will be a loss for him in the midterms.
I get that, and I agree with that. And I hope he does tighten the screws on Russia. But with that being said, I don't know if the direction of this country is something that I wanted to continue to go into. I don't think the economy is as strong as we wanted it to be, and I don't think that that this style of leadership, which is focused on more retribution as opposed to the economy, is going to work for us. I want to see the people that are elected focus on the economy. Let's not worry about the retribution and getting back at people.
Okay. Rick Young says we don't want our president that constantly lies to the American people.
And that's a concern. Mr. Trump does not always tell the truth. And we know that has been a continued issue, right? And so these are some of the things we got to start worrying about. When people see leaders, can you trust that leader to tell you the truth? Can you trust that leader to be a decent person? Can you trust that leader in tough situations to say decent things? I believe we need leadership that's going to do that. Calling people garbage and calling them this and that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think leaders should do that. Even when you don't win, you don't just call the other side that because they didn't vote for you. That's just not who I am. I don't think that helps America.
All right. The fourth horseman is hearing stories about ICE propelling from helicopters, landing on roofs, going through apartment buildings, knocking in doors, taking people, leaving property damage. What do you think?
And see, that's the thing, man. That's scary. You start doing that kind of stuff, somebody's gonna get hurt. You kick my door in, I don't know who you are. You don't announce yourself. I don't hear you well enough. You might catch one. And that's just everybody. Everybody feels that way. And so I don't think that that's smart. I don't think that's smart advice. And you shouldn't be really doing that.
Okay. Jeff says Trump is trying to clean up the violent blue city crime.
I think he's going against the blue cities because the blue cities don't vote for him. Let's be honest. It's not just about cleaning up crime. It's about going in and punishing people for not voting for you. And that's why we got to be careful with that kind of power, because we don't want the next president to come in and do the opposite of that and go against people that are in rural areas. That's just part of what it is. Let's be honest. He's strategically going after cities because they don't vote his way. And that's why he's targeted Texas. Him and our governor, Hot Wheels, they have decided to go against the cities. The main two cities in Texas are Houston and Dallas. And they have tried to set up things to be able to go after the Democrats in those counties and try to eradicate the Democratic Party in those counties. And so let's just be honest, that's what they're doing.
Okay, the fourth horseman has a question for you at the top.
Will Gavin Newsom be a good candidate for 2028? In some ways, yes, because he'll stand up to Trump, and I think he does have some good ideas. And in some ways, maybe not, because I don't like what's going on in California. I don't think California is the safest, best managed place. But I do feel like he'll stand up and fight against Mr. Trump and fight for the rights of the regular people when he needs to. And I agree with him on that. I do have some concerns about him as well. That's just what I thought.
Okay, Brian Cantrell has a question for you.
Okay, Calvin, that works both ways. Please explain that parents' rights were taken away for trans children wanting to change sex at ages 5 to 17. So when it comes to changing a child's sex and the parents, I just, I wish people can do whatever they want to do, but I'm not a fan of changing any child's sex at 5 or all the way up to 17. That should just should not happen. We should not be doing that. It's my personal opinion. And if you are going to do it, to have government money pay for that, I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. I just think that you really got to wait a minute and see how that person is going to develop. But if you go in and put them on these blockers and all of these medicines and have these changes, I just don't think you should be doing that to young people. That's just my opinion.
Do you think these extreme measures that you just spoke about, also men playing in women's and boys playing in girls' sports, do you think that's what caused the Democrats to lose their way in the election?
Hell yes. It seems like they lost the common sense argument. You should not want men in women's sports. You shouldn't want men in women's bathrooms. You shouldn't want men in safe places that are only there for women. Nothing against trans people. I wish them the best. I have nothing against them. Nothing against a person choosing a lifestyle or feeling like they were meant to be that way naturally. But with that being said, the Democratic Party lost common sense. They lost common sense and they lost the working man. And they better hell get their butts in line to understand that they better make common sense arguments, and they better get the working man, the average American, back in the fold. If they don't, they're going to lose again.
Okay, Jeremy Johnson, thank you for your comments. Said, what president actually tells the truth? They're all puppets.
I get that, but some lie a lot more than others. so that's just what it is. That's the truth.
Okay, Frank says, oh, did he hurt your feelings?
What do you mean, like
Donald Trump? He hurt your
my
feelings. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean, I don't have feelings when it comes to him. It's all business, and that's the thing. I don't get into my feelings about that kind of stuff. If he said something, if he were to say something about me, I wouldn't really care less. I more care about the policy, and I think that's where a lot of Americans are, and I think that's where a lot of people should be. I think we spend too much time in our feelings, worrying about if we're going to get hurt or not, worrying about this person, if this person likes black people, if this person likes white people, if this person likes brown people. Man, I could care less if you like me because I'm black. I don't care that you don't like black people. But at the same time, if you're going to discriminate and it's going to take something away from me and I'm going to get deprived of a right, that's going to have a problem with you. Because at the end of the day, you can have whatever preference you want. And to be honest with you, if you're just going to judge somebody by their skin color, then I really don't care about what you think about other people, because I think that's very shallow, and I probably wouldn't want to be around you or take advice from you anyway. So it's one of those things where feelings really don't get into it. It's about business. Are you going to make this country better? Are you going to make things more affordable? Am I going to be okay with my rights? Or am I going to have my rights taken away? Are you going to protect my rights? Or are you going to protect the positions that I'm going to take? Are you going to protect people that look like me, especially when I need that protection? If you're going to do that, it's fine. I'm for you. If not, then I'm not.
Okay, Jeb says that under Joe Biden, inflation went up 9%, reached 9%, and quite often it doesn't go back down afterward.
Well, it's still not going. It's going up from what I hear. It's still not going back down. We were promised that it's going to go down. We got to really, really get into the facts of, hey, listen, Biden was here, he's gone. Trump is here now, and he got 3 more years. Him and his group need to plan out how we're going to get these prices down, how people are going to be able to afford everything. We need to let the Biden stuff go. You got all 3 houses right now, you use them.
Okay. Gerald says you should have told people about him before they voted for him. And that's a good thing about our show, right, Calvin? We're letting people know things now. I'm not necessarily talking about Trump, but I'm saying we're warning people before the shoe falls, right?
Listen, let me tell you, I had a conversation, and my legal assistant watches the show, so we're going to have a conversation about it. Sometimes we have these deep conversations.
Shout out to your legal assistant. Nice
Miss
to have
Teresa,
you.
love you to death. But I told her, I said, we're going to lose this thing. I said the Democrats are going to lose this election, and she probably thought I was crazy. But I kind of saw something coming. And what I saw coming was that the Democratic Party was losing the argument on common sense, and they were losing the working man. Even though they were winning the arguments on other things, I think that there was a blind spot. I felt like they had a blind spot. And I also felt like that they were not talking to African-American men the way they needed to. And the reason why I say that is because if 85% or 90% of somebody votes for you, you speak to them, and you speak to them strongly, and you let them know you're going to support them. And I didn't see a big push or a proper push for African-American men. And then I thought that the Democrats were losing the argument on common sense, and they were losing the argument on the economy, and they were losing the argument on immigration. And I think the economy and immigration, to most people, were the 2 most important things in the last election we had. And it just seems like the Democratic Party was leading with discrimination, LGBTQ. They were leading with abortion. And I always felt like those things are important, but the top 2 things I felt like was going to be important were the economy and immigration, and I was right. And I think the Republicans were doing a better job of getting their messaging out to make it look like that they were going to do something that was more common sense than the Democrats were.
Great point. IB Thing says people in rural areas don't have anything to go after. Blue states carry red states.
They do a lot, and blue cities carry rural areas. A lot of our tax dollars from our cities and the money that we make go and support these rural areas. We support their post offices, the roads. They wouldn't be able to have anything out there if it weren't for some of these cities. And so I agree with that.
Okay, Jeff says Houston and Dallas are the highest crime areas in Texas. Don't talk about my Dallas Cowboys. No, go ahead.
They're actually not. Places like Killeen and some of the other smaller cities. Port Arthur has a high crime rate. Killeen has a higher crime rate. And so people have to start, if you're going to talk about crime rates, start doing your research so that you can actually make those comments. I'm a Texas boy, so a Texas boy like myself, I know my numbers. And saying Dallas and Houston have the highest crime rates, no, you're actually wrong. Or some of the smaller places in Texas have actually higher crime rates.
All right, Clement has a message for you up top.
Calvin Johnson, I'm from Massachusetts. Thanks for speaking the truth and keep up the good work. And that's what we try to tell people, man. Let's keep it real. Everything that Trump does is not bad, but he does some bad stuff, and he's acting some bad ways. And everything that the Democrats are doing are not good. I mean, there's concerns that I have about the Democratic Party right now. But with that being said, I'm concerned about Trump and his policies, his tariff policies, his policies that are kind of leading to a lot of discrimination against other people. He's calling people garbage. And the fact that inflation is up, and the fact that he's attacking other nations and potentially getting us into wars, and then him not keeping his word when it comes to getting this economy in line and being focused on retribution and going back at people. Yeah, those are the things that I have concerns about. And not just because he's a Republican. I have concerns about anybody that would be in the middle of doing any of those things. And that's just the truth.
Okay. IB Thing says that whole issue about the trans children, what have you, it's just a terrible lie to smear the community.
And see,
Get
that's
out
the
for that.
thing. Like, my whole deal is I know trans people. I work with a trans person. I have friends that are LGBTQ, and I get what they're saying about certain things are there to smear. But I think that part of the of that movement that probably some people, and I've even talked to some of my friends that are gay, and they said that some people in the movement maybe it took things too far to where some people were not comfortable with it, and it was costing people's votes. It was costing people's elections. And so my whole deal is I get what they're saying about that, but I just do not want a trans person in the bathroom. If I have a child, I'd rather they go to a third bathroom, have their own area. I just think that you got to be extremely careful. I just think it creates all of these situations. And to be honest with you, how often is that going to be a big deal? And then sometimes we got to be careful. Sometimes the powers that be will trick us into worrying about that. But how often do the people have to go to the restroom and you see somebody in there that you don't want in there? How often does it actually happen? I mean, and how important is that to us as Americans? And it's very important. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes people make that an issue and lead with that issue to get people to vote for him, and then that's what they do.
Okay. Frank says, thank God Trump is saving the Christians in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank God he's saving the Christians, but he's not doing it just to save the Christians. He wants that oil too. And see, that's the truth. Like I thank God he is helping save the Christians in Nigeria. But with that being said, he's not doing it just for that. He's doing that to help control that oil. And he didn't ask the Nigerians what did they give him permission to go in there. He went in and did it anyway, and so they were forced to just work with him while it was happening. And I get that. Protect the particular group of people of faith. I agree with that. That's great. But at the same time, let's tell the truth about it. I mean, there's more than one reason why he went in there, to help the Christians and also to gain some favor about getting that oil up out of Nigeria.
Okay, nice to see Vinny back. Vinny's been here consistently each week. He says, it's too late, Democrats. You went too far from reality.
And see, that's the thing. And see, I agree with some of that because I think some of the people that are Democrats, especially moderate Democrats, say, hey, man, y'all went too far left. And in some situations, I think that the far left has caused the Democratic Party to lose independence. It's caused people to lose the normal Joe Blow people with families. And I think it's caused people to lose the regular folk just trying to make it, that live regular lifestyles, that do regular stuff. I think some of the far left policies have hurt. But with that being said, you can't blame them when you see some of the stuff that's on the far right. So it is what it is.
Okay, Brian has a message for you up top.
He said, okay, Brian Calvin, thank you. You seem even stance. I appreciate that. As MAGA, I can respect you. Hey, I appreciate it. Man, I have nothing against anybody. I just tell the truth. And the reason why I say I tell the truth, because at the same time, even though I mainly vote Democrat, there are problems on our side. I just have concerns with following any person, whether that be a Democrat or Republican, blindly, as opposed to using my brain when it comes to certain things. And so when I see something, I don't look at it from a Republican or Democratic perspective. I look at it from a perspective, is it going to help me, hurt me? Is it going to help America, hurt America? And I try to tell the truth about it.
Okay, Mike says, where's the America First policies?
And see, that's the thing. Some people think that Mr. Trump is doing that. But like buying Argentinian beef, some of the tariffs on some of the electronics companies have caused problems. The soybean issue with soybean farmers in America has caused dramatic problems, dramatic losses for so many families in America, and you might not be able to replace those people. That's a lot.
Okay, Vinny says J.D. Vance is the next president, whether you like it or not.
Well, we'll see what happens at the polls. I mean, it's not about you speaking that into existence already. There still is a whole 2.5, 3 years that has to go by, and certain people, there's going to be an election, and we'll see what happens with that. I mean, if he wins and he's the president, he's the president, but I wouldn't count my eggs right now on him.
Okay, IB Things has a message.
You're just flapping your gum. Democrats lost because they are not for the working class. Have you been listening to what I'm telling you? I've said about like 10 times a day, Mel. They got to pay attention to the working class, regular Joe American. And at the end of the day, that's what I've been saying. It's the truth. And the Democrats, if you're watching this show, and I consider myself more of a Democrat than a Republican, if you're watching this show, Democrats, they're telling you what it is. They're telling you what they're telling their friends, and they're telling their friends, come vote Republicans because the Democrats have lost the working class. The Democrats got to get back to grassroots working class recruitment and making sure that those working class people feel like that they are fighting for them, not just fighting for the people on the far left. That's just what it is. That's the truth.
Okay, we're down to our last 5 minutes. If anyone would like to come up and express themselves, ask a question, make a statement, feel free to come up. We just ask that you be very respectful and dressed appropriately. Paul said, what do you think about Harris wanting to run against Trump again in 28?
I don't know about that. I don't think that would be a good look. She lost the last time. $1 billion got spent. We really don't know how that money went. But if she wants to run, she can run because it's America. But I think she needs to go through a primary. It shouldn't be how we got it the last time because of what Biden did, where they just gave it to her and told her she could run. I think she needs to go through a primary season, but I just don't know if people are ready for her, or they were impressed enough to want her to be the person to try to dethrone Trump. But if she wants to run, she can run. It's America.
AI Smart City says if Dwayne Rock Johnson runs for president, JD won't have a chance.
And that's exactly why we need to quit talking like that. I mean, people that have no political experience like that should not be running to lead a country like that. I don't think that's good, but that's just my attitude.
Okay, so what do you see happening next in regards to the Epstein files?
Man, I think some of the stuff is going to get slipped out. I think the Democrats are going to figure out a way to sneakily get it out, since the Justice Department won't release it. The Democrats are going to get it out little by little. So if I was the Republicans, I'd go on and let it out, get it out, deal with it all at once. Because if not, what I think is going to happen in these subcommittees, little stuff is going to get leaked here and there, and they're going to be dealing with a continuing problem. They're going to drip Trump to death on some of his behavior with Epstein.
Do you think it'll come to a point where he could be impeached or just have to give up altogether?
If it gets bad enough, maybe, but I really don't doubt that. They're not going to turn their back on him. They're okay with him. They don't care what he does. He can do whatever he wants to do. I don't think that they're going to all of a sudden have some kind of hold some kind of moral high ground because of these allegations of some of it's proven true. They're willing to deal with anything that he does because he represents what they believe in.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much. We've come to that point where we need you to give us some final words of closing. We have a lot of people come through tonight, thousands of people. So thank you.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all rocking out with us. We started this show actually following the P. Diddy trial. And just to remind you, I correctly predicted how many months P. Diddy would get. I predicted 51 to 63. He got 50. But we started talking about the legal system. And this was about 4 or 5 months ago we were doing this. And we're almost at our 6-month point doing this show, if I'm correct. And we have tried to provide you with a balanced view of politics, a balanced view of the legal system. And we've tried to educate you along the way. There's been a lot going on this year. But we want to be a show where you can come and express how you feel about something, whether you are a far left Democrat or somebody who's MAGA. we'll engage you in conversation, and we'll just tell the truth. Sometimes you won't like what we say about President Trump if you're a supporter of his, or you might not like what we say about the far left if you're a supporter of them. But at the same time, we try to tell you the truth. We try to be honest, and we try to provide a real knowledgeable, real conversation about what's going on in America, not just the echo chamber to the left and the echo chamber to the right. We want to provide you with good legal advice and great content for the mind. We're going to be coming on 6 p.m. Texas time, 7 p.m. New York time moving forward. So tune in to us every Sunday. If y'all want to come up, mail the last 10 or 15 minutes of the show. We're going to start letting people come up, live people, real guests. So if you're watching the show, you want to come up and be on stream, just make sure you look decent, make sure you're a professional, and make sure you're ready to spit your question out, and we're willing to come up and answer your questions. We stay active in the chat. We appreciate y'all. And until next week, first week of the year, we're going to go and talk about what's new, and we'll do more of a year in review as well. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in, watching the World 777 with Mel and Calvin, the weekly legal review. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the flame remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.